Okay, good afternoon, guys. I hope everyone is well. It is Wednesday the 30th, last day of May. 1st of June tomorrow. And it doesn't seem 5 minutes ago since Christmas, does it? Okay, so how is everyone? Indy, good morning. Morning, Speedy. How you doing? How is everybody? Okay, last day of the Apex, 80% off today. Goes back up to, I believe, 50%. It doesn't go back at the full price. I believe 50% tomorrow. So if you are interested, you've got 1 day left. You know, my code is down the bottom as usual. Down there somewhere.
Trading S by 62.
There we go. Okay, so if you use it or you have used it, it is appreciated. I have been looking this morning. I did take a trade. I took a 1.2, just over a scalp. Happy Hump Day. I've heard of that before, actually. Someone else wished me Happy Hump Day a bunch of years ago. I'm not exactly sure. I know it's an American thing, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. Hump over in the UK means something quite different. Arminas, how you doing? So, okay, I'm looking at this now. There is very strong liquidity, 41.90, very strong, especially anywhere around here, 90.91, and very strong liquidity also down here as well. So for me, this looks like it's working out. Now, I've obviously got to be careful what I do here because the market opens soon. There is some news as well as I put that there. Let's put that on the eye line. So there's some news at 3 o'clock UK time, which is about 37 minutes, 36, 37 minutes. So, but we have got a leg down here. It looked like a two-legged correction, and that for me is where it's coming to. Liquidity is perfect down here, so we're pulling down. So I've got no. I'm pretty confident about that, but obviously I still need a setup here. I can't just jump in willy-nilly because aggressive buyers can still buy. Just because liquidity is showing down here doesn't mean aggressive buyers also, can just jump in. So I've got to make a right decision here. But let's see. Wednesday, middle of the week, over the hump. Is that what you call it? Okay, kind of double minute. I got you. Yeah. Yeah, hump over is something you do to your wife or your girlfriend. You go. Okay, so it's been a bit of a rocky old road, I've got to say, lately. Yesterday was a funny old day. I've got to say that when you have PA accounts, your stress levels do increase. Now, I was having a little bit of a Google around today, and I Googled, do your stress levels reduce the longer you've been trading? Now, there is a couple of time-served traders. I think Harji, did he say been trading 20? Someone have been trading 23 years. Someone have been trading 15 years. Now, I have read a lot about trading, and I have heard the term. It's being comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, if that makes sense. But I'm assuming now there's two schools of thought here. Now, if I have $20,000 in my account now and I'm taking one contract, goes without saying the stress level is low. But while you're trying to build those PA accounts up, it's a little bit high. And I do feel it at the moment. So I've just been having a little Google around this morning, and I did mention I was going to start doing some meditation, that sort of thing. Meditate. What's the other one? What do they call it? Something mindfulness. Mindfulness and meditation is supposed to be helpful. So I'm going to start incorporating that into my daily. I'm going to try and aim for 15, 20 minutes a day if I can. So yeah, it's tough, but I believe if you're smart, you can find ways of helping you deal with it. Yeah, that liquidity is very strong. If any of you guys are looking at Bookmap, you can clearly see it around the 41.90. And if you look over to the right, you can see a big area. I mean, you can't see it there. Let me just drag it in a minute. There's a larger area here. This is sort of the bigger version. This is the compressed version. But there's a lot around here. So let me just open that up a bit.
Stop and Q buy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of liquidity at 41.90. So with what I'm seeing on the charts, this is a perfect target. And it's got my things on there. I'll have to move that. But there is a lot around. Yeah, you can see the 90, 91, 92. It's strong, that is. And obviously 80, there's some further down. So the feeling I'm getting at the moment is I'm confident we're going to make this other leg. Like I just showed you, there's a lot of liquidity around here and some down here. So this, for me, it makes perfect sense. One leg down, a two-leg correction. Another leg down, it's just finding a decent setup there. But even with this, one thing I've noticed, even with this book map, you still have to find a setup. It's still got to be a good setup. You can't just think there's loads of liquidity, I'll randomly sell here, because it can go up and tick you out. Now, if you were selling here and putting your stop up here and taking profit down here, it's not so bad. But like, this is looking nice and bearish, but I can't just jump in because it may come up, break out, and come back down and give us a bearish bar. Although it does look quite nice, I just can't do it. And not just that, market's opening in about 3.5 minutes. Hey Toad, how you doing, buddy? Sometimes I lift dumbbells whilst trading to reduce stress. Do you know what? My brother's garage, I've got some dumbbells in there which I've had for years. And I've said to my wife the other day, we were out with some family, and I said, I asked my brother if he's still got them in the garage, and they are, so I'm going to get them. But I did karate for years, and I used to have a punch bag outside, so whenever I got stressed, I used to go out there and kick hell out of it. But I ended up tearing some cartilage in my right knee, so I had a complex tear, so I had to have a chunk of that taken out. So that was my karate days. But I used to be relatively fit. I used to run quite a bit, and as I say, I did karate on and off for about 17 years. But the trouble is, all those years of kicking fresh air take their toll on you. So I'm just in the middle of doing an old rowing machine up at the moment as a bit of a hobby. The typical rowing machine you find in gyms. I forget what they're called now, but this is a slightly older version. So that's my little project, and I'm gonna get back on that. But I'm just trying to sort my whole life out. I've been doing a bit of a juice fast lately. I've been having about a litre of organic green juice, which I've been juicing every day, and eating a little bit better and trying to sleep
Trading
better.
S by 50.
Getting a bit of exercise in the evening. I'm just trying to get my whole system working right now. We all know trading's stressful. And if you've got a stressful job, you've got to find avenues of releasing that stress and managing that stress. Otherwise, it gets to the stage where it can just be hard to handle. We all know a certain amount of stress is good for you. A little bit of stress is good for you. It's when it's out of control. So I think it's important. You sometimes walk with the wife in the morning. Well, strangely enough, we were going to go out for a walk last night, me and the wife. We got 2 dogs, so we were going to do a couple of miles. But we're going to start doing that in the evenings after dinner. Breath of fresh air. It's nice at the moment. Weather's nice at the moment. Anyone else have a crazy noise? Hold on a second. Okay, that crazy noise should go. How's that? I've got bookmap up here. I usually have the volume switched off, so you can hear some odd stuff in the background. Sorry about that. But yeah. But I used to like a bit of rowing. I bought a second-hand machine, one of the ones from the gyms. I forget what they're called now. You probably have them in the gyms over there. It's like 2 sections, a big flywheel and whatever. And we all know rowing's good for you. It's good for your legs, good for your back. It's good for your upper back, your lower back, your leg. It's all sorts. It's a good all-rounder, that is. And it's quite gentle as well, isn't it? I tend to not run anymore because of that cartilage I had out on my knee. So we may get a second entry, but I am aware market opens in 20 seconds. If we can get a push above here, then I expect to come down to this 90 area. Unfortunately, it hasn't ticked above it very well. Yeah, it does, mate. I don't quite know why it does that, but I'm assuming it serves a purpose of some point. Okay, so I've got to be careful here. Market's officially now open because trying to go long once, try to go twice. Possible failure here. Now, I certainly don't want to be going long, but I want to make sure I go short in the right area. And it's just a little bit congested here. It may trigger and push up, so I've got to be a bit careful. But I am trying to think about the stress. I'm trying to monitor it and think about when I get stressed and why, and how can I reduce that stress. And what I find is if you put targets on yourself, monetary targets, or a certain trades a day, I find that's quite stressful, because really we can only give what the market gives you, and with all the best intentions in the world, one leg, two leg, you can't just I forget what I was saying now. I'm losing my marbles here. I forget what I was saying. I've just gone completely blank. It was about stress levels, isn't it? Yeah, I find the stress levels of work, if you set monetary value, or worse, if you set monetary values, targets are hard to achieve, I think, because you can only give what the market gives you. If there's no trades, you just can't take a trade. You can't go, oh, I haven't done me one yet, I've got to try and find a trade. It doesn't work that way. You can get yourself into trouble. So I'm not a fan of having targets. Now, saying if I win 2 trades in a row, then I'm going to quit, that's fine. That's okay to have some sort of target like that. But one leg, two leg. Interesting. One leg, two leg. One leg, two leg. I'm not. It looks to me like that, Chan. I mean, we touched here, and we've touched here a couple of times. So it almost looks like it's confirmed. But that's the trouble. Liquidity is showing strong here, but it doesn't mean to say you can't get some strong buyers to push that up and maybe trap some short. So who have we got in? Jay, how you doing? Yeah, it's switched off now, but I usually switch the the volume off on it. Do you have a job or just trade? I work weekends, bud, to bring some money in. So I get some money from you guys using the affiliate link every month. So that covers me trading and gives me a bit extra. And then I work Saturday and Sunday, and that gives me enough with my wife's wage to be able to trade full time. And obviously it's a bit different in the UK because official market, what is it? It's 2:30 in the afternoon here, so it's a bit easier for us. You guys in the US, trading is your normal daily hours, so it's a bit harder for you guys. So I think this is going to come down. Now there was some liquidity. There is a bit more there, so what people might be saying when they're putting orders in is if it comes back and hits there, I'm going to sell. Some very strong liquidity, 4,200. Now I thought we'd hit that, but I think that liquidity is coming after that. So let me just strong liquidity there. So Rhodian, how you doing, buddy? Sorry, yeah. I mean, we've still got this strong stuff back here, but there was some sell orders here. It doesn't mean they're going to get them. Some strong aggressive selling now, which is putting that down. Unfortunately, there's no way in for us there. It's congested to hell, but I would say we're going to make a new low, because this to me is a channel. Touch there, touch there, touch there. It's good as, but the strong liquidity is dragging this down. Unfortunately, it is frustrating when you say 6 points a move there, but there's nothing in there. 98, there's strong liquidity, so there may be a pullback. Might come back and get this, I don't know. But it's strong at 190, so I'd expect a pullback. But that doesn't mean aggressive sellers can't just push it down. Enjoy the brews. I bought a few more evals. Oh, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I've just passed 2 more earlier on. I tend to trade them a bit higher. 5, so I had 2 more evaluations, which I've just passed. One's at 3,161, 3,090. Thanks for that, Rodian. I appreciate that. I think I get about $5 every time you guys take one of those 50,000 ones. So that mounts up over a month, and it gives me that extra money. With my weekend money, it enables me to trade enables me to trade full time. So I did put that on there, and there it is, just in case anyone forgets that it does finish today, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So there's still strong liquidity there. So 1 leg, 2 leg. Trouble is, there's no real setup there. You can't really take them. There's just sort of 3 back to back really, and they're not doing anything. But I think we're gonna have a leg and a leg. This liquidity is strong down here, so I expect that to come down. And as tempting as it is to jump in, because you know I've got a good idea what's going on, I just can't. Who else we got on? Groll Daddy, good morning. SW Blaze, how you doing? Indy, yeah, it does make some strange noises for some reason. It's one thing I've never heard anybody mention. I've watched a bunch of videos on Bookmap, but I've never heard anybody mention the noise. But it does make some odd noises. Strong liquidity around about the 90. I've got no doubt we're going to get pushed down to there. So you can clearly see that Bookmap guides us, doesn't it? It's guiding us down. There's strong liquidity down there, and with the picture we can see, it makes perfect sense. So I do like it. It helps sort of give me, maybe this will turn into a bigger range channel. It helps give me the confidence that the orders are down here, which is telling me other traders now, they're showing us buy orders. So whether somebody's thinking when we break the new low, I'm going to buy it and it's going to push up, but the buy orders can be your profits as well, because if I'm shorting, your buy order down there will buy you out the trade. That sort of so it looks like a buy. It doesn't necessarily mean people are buying. It just means obviously that's where people are taking the profits. The noise is Tick Strike. It's a separate service. Oh, is it really? Ah, interesting. Tick Strike. So I'm assuming it's there. Obviously, well, it must be there for a reason. Thought I'd picked up the old Soviet number station. It does sort of sound a bit like that, doesn't it? Sounds like an old wireless in the 1940s or something, picking up the Russians. Does sound like that. Okay, so you could say there's a second entry long there. It's not brilliant, but let's see, because there is some strong liquidity at 98, which is why I put that line there. So this just might be a bit of a pullback, but I still expect it to come down. So yeah, there's 315 orders here. So whether it'll get there. The trouble is, once it goes up there so far, there's nothing, just because there's an order up here, it doesn't mean aggressive sellers can't just sell and push it back down. So you've got to take into consideration the 2 factors, the liquidity, which are orders sat waiting, whether they're pending orders, limit orders, or profits or stops. And you've got to take into consideration, you've got to keep an eye on the buyers as well. Buyers and sellers that just literally randomly hit the buy and sell. So yeah, there is some liquidity still here. I think it's likely going to hit that. And oddly enough, look what's happening. So 1 leg. So technically we haven't had a new low from here. Now, whether you think this is a channel or not, I think it is, but it may not be. It looks like it. We've touched a few times before we've broken out, so this might be, but it's still strong down below, around about the 90, 91, 92 is very strong. And also around about the 80. So I think we may, based on what I can see, hopefully, we may get a downtrend today. Now, obviously, trading trends is generally a bit easier because at least we know we just got to take shorts. And sometimes if you take a poor trade, just with the sort of gravitational pull of the markets, can get you out of trouble as well. Okay, so there we go. So that's been taken now. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's gone. So that liquidity is gone now. There's a tiny touch more at 200. But we'll see. 1 leg, 2 leg. That looks like a couple of legs. So what actually we may be ranging a little bit here. That would make sense. Excuse me just a second. I'm just going to take a bathroom break. I'm guzzling green juice and water at the moment, so my bladder's giving in. I'm 2 minutes. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so this, we got one leg up, 2 legs up. Still lots of liquidity down here. It'd be nice to pick up a move like that. So I would say there is a bit of liquidity at 200, but hopefully let's have a look. Okay, bit of a doji there. I thought that may push down, but trouble is it's only really hit it twice, so gotta be careful here. Now it looks like it's a range, but trouble is it might not be. It might just be a channel moving up. I don't think it is. It's looking rangy because there's not a lot of orders over here. There's a little bit of liquidity around here, but there's a big sort of a black area, which means there's not a lot of liquidity, which is probably why we've had a few dojis in the row there. But this is where I suppose there's some at 200. This is where I suppose we rely more on the aggressive sellers. Yeah, I don't want to get in this just in case. Just in case this is working up. We've had a break from this now. We haven't had a new low, but like I say, I wouldn't bet money that that isn't the range, so I don't want to just assume we've had a break and not a new low. Yeah, the liquidity's going from here and it's still strong at 90. So to me, it might just be 1 leg, 2 leg, and then down. Let's have a look. 1 leg, 2 leg. Okay, that would make sense. 1 leg, 2 leg. Let me just get rid of these. Could be 1 leg and 2 leg. I think there's a fair chance that this might come down pretty sharpish. Trouble is, I'm not 100% sure whether this is a channel moving up. I don't think it is. The way it's stalling here, I'd say it's pretty much, I'd say the chances of it is a range. There's a little bit of liquidity there, not much. Hey Lance, hearing you talk about beginning to meditate reminded me of myself. I tell you something, meditation does not work if you haven't been meditating for many years. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say about meditation, it can take a bit of time. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I've tried it a little bit, but I've never really persevered with it. But yeah. See, I've got quite an active imagination, so sometimes when I've tried to meditate a little bit, interesting. Sometimes there's that news, I'm assuming. Oh no, can't be yet. Didn't expect that. See, that's the trouble. See, the liquidity is down here. It doesn't mean to say it can't do that. So you could say that's a failed breakout, but I'm not 100% convinced that's a range. I would say this is probably going to pull back in, but I'm not sure this is a range. Okay, that's worked then. That's made you 2 points. Yeah, if that had hit there another times, I'd be a bit more convinced it was a range. So that would have made a couple of points for sure. Anybody take that, did they? That failed breakout? Yeah, I did say it might come tumbling down. I expect it to come down pretty sharpish in a minute. Fortunately, there's no way in apart from that. You'd have got about 4 points off that, I think. Here it comes. Yeah, I had an idea it was likely going to come down. I think this is going to come down pretty nice. Let me get a little channel drawn on that. Okay, so that had a little pullback, and then there was obviously some sell orders there which tanked that. So 90, 91, 90. Trouble is it's moved now. I can't do nothing. Trying to go once, trying to go twice. Just got to be careful here. You just don't want to miss a big move like that. But the trouble is, you just can't get in. Try to go once, try to go twice. I think this will hit a point and drop again. News isn't out yet. We're about. I did think so. I did wonder. I think it's just because it's broke out of going sideways. I think people have brought it in. Interesting. It's moving a bit too quick for my liking. The trouble is when it moves that quick, you might have a 2 point stop, but that 2 point stop could turn into 3 or 4 points if it moves quick enough. There's still strong liquidity down there. I'm pretty sure that's coming down. 1 leg, 2 leg. Makes perfect sense. 1 leg, 2 leg, unfortunately. As much as I'd love to jump in here, I just can't do it. I'm confident it's coming down to this area. I'm staying out. Yeah, don't blame you, mate. It's moving a bit too quick for me, but 1 leg down, 2 legs down. That to me looks like 2 legs down, and what I can see on Bookmap makes perfect sense. Funnily enough, look where the that second leg is. Trouble is, it is frustrating when we pretty much know what's going to happen. We should have got there. Yeah, it's tempting doing something here. I think if it breaks above there or comes above here, it'll drop again. Trouble is, you may get in the trade and it may start to go sideways. Now, Mac will tell you, now that will drop in my opinion. Mac will tell you you shouldn't be in a trade. I don't know, have a longer period of time before the news comes out. So I'm just staying out of it at the moment. Let's put that up there. Just don't want anybody forgetting that it's the last day. There's some liquidity again at 99. Maybe it'll come back and retest this once, retest it twice, and then drop down to these levels. There is a little bit of liquidity around about the 99 to 200, which is around about here. That's where we are now. So push down, try it once, try it twice. Hey Kay, how are you, mate? How you doing, buddy? How are you getting on? Yeah, news is in about 7.5 minutes. Do you know, I thought yesterday was quite a tough day, actually. I didn't see a lot, but I think Marco put about 3 or 4. I don't know. Did you take any yesterday, Kay? I think it was a bit of a... I mean, when you sit back at the end of the day and you could see that downtrend and there was an area, a couple of areas at the top where you could have shorted. The trouble is, because it was that choppy, it just makes you nervous for some reason. Sometimes if you see a trade, you've just got to take it. But when it does go very choppy, it kind of makes you hold back a bit. So I've never really had a problem with, people say I'm scared to take a trade. I tend to always to be the opposite. I think I need to be a little bit more scared of taking trades. I tend to jump in a little bit too. Yeah, look, I pretty much knew I was going to do that. There's this strong area down there. Try to go once. We have this little channel down. Try to go once, try to go twice. This strong liquidity down here, so I expect it to get here, but this is where the strongest is at the moment. So I wouldn't be shocked if it goes a bit sideways. We've got that news coming out in about 5.5 minutes. You didn't take any? No. I looked at them. I think Marco took, well, I say took, he only takes one a day, but he marked about 4 or 5. And when you look at them, I thought, well, actually, they look okay. But the trouble is, when it goes sideways, you've got that in your head straight away. It's choppy and it's sideways. So, I mean, a rule of thumb is if we're in a downtrend and it's clearly making, lower lows and lower highs, when it comes up and it's a bearish, hits a bearish bar right at the key entry point, which is what you go short. But the trouble is, because it's so choppy as well, you just start to think, oh, I'm going to get chopped up. So I suppose it's just, one thing I've learned, the more you get into trading, the more you realise how much a psychological battle it is constantly. Now, I've only been trading 2.5 years, and traders have told me, more experienced traders, that it does wither out to a degree. And I kind of hope it does, but I've also read that trading is about being comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. So I've read so many different points of view. Did you end up doing that mentorship program? Mentorship. Oh, you're talking to someone else. Sorry. Yeah. So it's what I'll say is it's a lot about money as well. If you've got a nice big bank balance and you've got plenty of money coming in, the stress levels are going to be a little bit less naturally. If you've not got a lot of money and you're sort of ticking over, then obviously stress levels are going to be a little bit more. So okay, I'm happy that's arranged now. Second entry short, though, I'd prefer that a bit higher. I think there's a good chance we're going to have that pushed down. Trouble is, we've got that news coming up, so it may just go a bit sideways. The last thing you want to do is get stuck in a trading and then all of a sudden, wham. Trouble is with these news events as well, they can wipe even a healthy looking PA account. You've got $1,000 in a PA account and you've got well, I don't know how big the stops are, but I've had a 2-point stop turned into a 4.5-point stop, so it doubled. Now, the quicker the market moves, if you get out of a trade, you're going to buy yourself out or sell yourself out of a trade, but you've got to have someone who's willing to buy or sell. But the market's going quickly in the other way. Those 2-point stops can double, no problem at all. And that's what makes me nervous when markets are moving quick. And obviously trading news is complete, unless you know what you're doing. I mean, you can't scalp market news as they move too much. If you're on an hour or 2 hour time frame, these moves may not have such an impact on you. But we had a 55-point green bar maybe a couple of 3 months ago. It just rocketed up, so they can do you some serious damage. Okay, we've got that news coming up in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to make myself a quick cup of coffee, and I'll be back. 5 minutes. Okay, we got the news, haven't we? Oh, it's happened. Where's my other leg gone? Oh, there it is. Nothing particular, I think. That's still my area at the moment. There we go. Beautiful. So it's clearly working down to it. Good strong area there. Yeah, it's almost very similar to this, isn't it? We've got the one leg down with a little channel, then we got a two-legged correction, then another leg down. I still expect it to get down to here, so that might be an area. The trouble is, the news has appeared. I don't think nothing's happened, but are you trading only max pats? Yeah, mainly. The only difference is I tend to go for between sort of 2 and 4 points. I like that.
Order submitted.
That's a second entry short there.
Order filled.
I'm just going to put it at this liquidity. Second entry short. That's confirmed that. Strong liquidity at 90.
Target filled.
Beautiful. Okay. We just make sure everything's cancelled. Beautiful. Okay. Nice trade there. So we got touch, touch, touch. Second entry short. Nice bearish bar. I expected it to hit that 1490. Have you also read the book I suggested for psychology? Are you talking to me, bud? Are you talking to me, Kay? What was that, mate? It wasn't because there is one sorry. There was one I'm listening to or partially listening to. What's it called? What's it called? Best loser wins, something like that. That's that one I'm in the middle of. Okay, so it hit that area I expected it to beautifully. Some strong liquidity there. Touch, touch, touch. I think that confirmed it. Okay, so you took some on the NQ. How did you find that, NQ? I'm going to have a chat with you about that. I'll have to have a... I'll have a private message with you in the next week or something, Toad. I know you messaged me before, haven't we? We've had a chat before, but be interesting to have a look at that NQ. See how it compares to this. I don't know. Can you trade the two at some time? I know when you trade in currency, you can trade, multiple charts. Pick it up. It's worth its weight in gold. What is, mates? Best loser wins. Is that the one you're on about? Because I've got it on audio book at the moment. So I've listened to a little bit of it, but I'm putting it on at night. And the trouble is I keep falling asleep. That one there, yeah. Okay. Sometimes when you see a setup, and it's quite a nice setup, when markets are so choppy, it's sort of semi-unbelievable a bit, isn't it? And you just don't know what to do. So now thanks, Indy. Yeah, it was okay. I think it's second entry long. I know you can recount these, can't you? I know Max says you can recount them or start afresh, but it was clearly this area here. The mental game of trading. Just take a photo of that. I may have done. I've got a bunch of them on my audio book. Let me just take a photo of it. Mental game of trading now. Let me just have a look. I've got a bunch of them. Intelligent investor, best loser wins. Debbie does. Oh no, that's a different. Let's have a look. How to day trade Forex for a living. Forex. There's a bunch of them. No, I've got rid of a few of them. I did have a load of them. The mental game of trading. Yes, I've got it.
That is a narrow range,
That's
which
it.
is achieved by maintaining a consistent focus on correcting the flaws in your C game.
That's it. Yeah, I've got it. How far am I into it? Let's have a look. I'm on chapter 3. So I'll get back into that. I've had that for quite a while now, maybe a year or something, and I haven't got back. The trouble is, you get so many people mentioning, try this, try that, and you get a bunch of them. But I'll go back over that. So I got 2.5 points there. So happy days. It is nice when you get something. It makes you feel nice. So plus 2.5 points. Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of, okay, so it's pretty clear this, isn't it? We've had this leg down. We've had a two-legged correction, and then we got another leg down. Now, the way this is coming away, I think it's possible that it's coming down quick there, that is a bit of a spike in a channel, I think. So let's just adjust that and see how that fits. That fits nice at the bottom now, so that makes sense to me. But that was still okay as well, to be honest with you. I just wonder why it went up a bit and then came back down again. So that fits nice in there now. So I still expect to hit this measured leg. So that gives us a little bit more. And there is some more liquidity around about the 88. So I expect that to come down. So we've hit that bit of liquidity nicely there. That was strong, that was. So it's definitely helping me having Bookmap. It's just giving me that little extra confidence that there are other traders with areas down here of interest. Now, there's clearly something at 180. I'm going to leave that there, and maybe we'll pick that up later on. But there is some around about the 88. It's definitely helping me. There's some around 80, 88, which is just above where this measured leg is. So, just wondering whether this is going to turn into, go from this way, it's often easier, isn't it? Yeah, I think this may turn into a bigger, yeah, we may be lucky enough. From what I'm seeing now, there's strong liquidity at down around about the 80 down here, so that would bring it down to this bottom section. Now, you might call that a channel, it might not. I tend to not put them in there, but it's probably going to be something like that by the end of the day. But at least now I can clearly see we've got some downward movement. So at least now I know I'm mainly looking for shorts. I did cancel everything, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So some liquidity around here, maybe a touch above there, maybe 80 and a half. So around about there, where we've hit that now. So I just wanted to put these down here as a reference where I see these strong areas, and if they make them, obviously I start to build up confidence. Now, a couple of people have said about Bookmap, it's full of spoofers putting orders in and all this sort of thing. Now, it's a big piece of software. Lots of traders use it, and if it was that dodgy or, you know, that not worth it, people just wouldn't use it. Yeah, I dare say there's always going to be some form of manipulation. You know, if let's say, for instance, someone wants to hold on to a buy order, he may put an order down here. There's always going to be some sort. I mean, I know that from crypto. I own some cryptocurrency, and I trade a little cryptocurrency, and I know how the whales move. They dump, everyone panics and dumps, and they buy it back. So I know there's a lot of manipulation going on, and just because it's in crypto doesn't mean that it isn't in other forms, you know, other sort of assets. Okay, so we're going to get that measured leg by the look of it. So let me just, let's put that there. That's there. That's there. So there we go, beautifully. See if you think these markets are random, it just goes to show. Look at that perfect measured leg, boom, 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 3 times. It still amazes me that does how accurate these markets work. So nice. So next bit of liquidity is around about 85. So at the moment we're clearly coming down. Now it's possible we have 1 leg, 2 legs, and then we might move up. But I suppose it depends how strong the downtrend is. I mean, there is some liquidity around about here, so but it's strong at 80, so I expect that to be this target, whether it comes down quickly or whether it comes down within this. But I need to be careful now because that measured leg has played out strong at 85, so I think this will push down to 85. Which is around about there. Oh, it probably did actually, or near on. No, it's still there. It's quite a nice channel, that. So 80, yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot of strong liquidity now at 79 down here. So for me, this is clearly working back. So if we can, see, it just helps you take better trades, doesn't it? If we work our way back here, be looking for shorts again because, you know, there's strong liquidity. So some strong at 79 to 80, which is that. We'll put it at 80. So that's gone now. Remove. Yeah, don't forget, guys, last day today, 80% off. There's my code. If you use it, it's appreciated. But I mean, whether you use mine or someone else's anyway, but it's the last day today. So if you're planning on evaluations, then they're on offer. I don't think it'll be long before we do 80% off. It never does seem to be. Starting to look more and more like a nice trending day. So it makes a change. See, as a currency trader, when I started currency trader, first job of the day is to find weak currencies against strong currencies and find trends. Trends are obviously a lot easier to trade, a lot more straightforward. We know what we're looking for. Yeah, 79.80. There's 585 orders down there. It's definitely pulling down. Trouble is, unless you get a setup. Yeah, look, it definitely gives me the confidence. This does. It's definitely a useful indicator. Just the fact that there are orders down there, so I know there's something down there to work to. Hopefully tomorrow I can get my new monitor working. I've had to order a new adapter, HDMI to DVI-D. In fact, I looked at Mac's video last night, and while I was looking on the daily, it does look like it could have a nice significant push down today. Okay, that's picked up. That's cleared that liquidity there. Let's have a look. Yeah, as it's picked up that. So those were buy orders there. So that could have been taking profits, which had a little bit of a push up. Now, let's have a look. The stuff at 80. There's 600 orders at 80. So that for me is the next area. The trouble is, because we're working down to the bottom, we just can't trade that. There is some around about the 89, which is up around here. So that may, there's a little bit around the 89, 89.50, which is around about there. So whether we'll make that or not, I don't know. $41.07. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Would not that be nice? But wait for a signal. Downside pending. Sell target 41.07. Yeah. 41.07. What we said. That'd be nice. Hopefully. Trouble is, yeah, you got to wait for a signal. Yeah, there is some liquidity there. Wow, look at that. Pushing straight down to it, isn't it? Very strong at 80. Trouble is, you can't go short that low in the unless there's a smaller channel going there, but very strong at 80, that is very strong. Okay, touch, overshoot. Interesting. I think that's going to come straight down here, I do. Just too far from the EMA though. It might trigger below and push straight up to the EMA. There's some at 87. There's still a bit at 87. Maybe traders saying if we pull back to here, I'll go short again. But that's feathering off a bit now. I still see continue. Thing is, just because there's liquidity down here, we're at the bottom of a channel. So obviously other traders have got this channel drawn and it's not the most attractive place to go short, regardless of the fact that there's liquidity there. You've got to at least make a pullback. Now there is some around about the 87, so if we can get a second entry short off here, then I'll go short again. There is some liquidity around about the 87, which is here. Just thinking if there's a slightly sharper channel. Which I have. I have the 4188 on your screen, 4183. Okay, I'll tell you what, let me just reload my historic. See if that makes a difference. My limit sell orders, yeah, 4187. Well, that's not good, is it? Hate it when it does that. Still strong at 80. Oh, he's adjusted his chart a bit. I use daily channel to keep me out of trades, and if you zoom out, bottom. Jay, are you saying you use Bookmap daily channel? Is that what you mean? You use? Oh, sorry, daily channel. Sorry. So yeah. Still strong at 80. Trouble is, that's congested. Just too dangerous to trade that. If we can break out the top of it and come down, then. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I've had a look at it. This is clearly touch, and we've obviously come down a little bit sharper, and that to me is an overshoot. Hey Nick, how you doing, bud? How are you, mate? There you go. Are you taking anything yet? When the heck did you get all those PAs? Well, what PAs? I've only got 3. Well, tell a lie. I've strictly got 5, but 2 of them have passed. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll give you a quick look. I don't think it really matters, does it? Let's have a look. I don't know if it matters, does it? I don't know. I've got 3 at the moment. PAs, but I've passed 2 more evaluations. Nothing yet for... Oh, you're not. I've passed 2 more evaluations, so they'll go live in about 4 days. I tend to do them a bit quicker. I finished them earlier on this morning. Still strong at 80. Very strong at 80. There's 550 orders down here, so that looks like it's going to suck it straight down there. As much as I'd love to go short there, it's a big ass bar, and there's only less than 2 points. Let's see if that works. Still there, 80. Come on. The only one I've seen, well, excuse me, I did take that earlier. It looks a lot bigger than it is, but I took that for a 1.25. I lost my bottle a bit. And I took that second entry. We sort of touch. Clearly, obviously, the bottom as well. A bunch of times on the bottom, touch. Second entry short, which worked nice for. I got 2.5 points out of it, I think. It just went down to the bottoms. Yeah, I actually got on the bottom of it, so I got 2.5 points off it. Okay, so that's pushed right down through that strong area. There's a lot of aggressive selling now. A lot of short volume. 75 is the next target down here, so let's move that down. So So it's clearly working. This. Now, I wouldn't have known where this was likely to come to. All I can see what's happening now, but it gives me a picture of what's likely to happen. So that's showing there some relatively strong stuff again there. Not much above, really. Some at 77 here. But I like the fact it's definitely helping me. There's some at 84, so a little bit. No, not much. In fact, let's why is that sort of? Okay, so there's, yeah. See, touch it along the bottom. It's a bit of an overshoot, isn't it? But obviously that clearly is. But what I tend to do is err on the side of caution. And the reason it is, and we had a discussion about this, Kerr, the other day, I took a short on a trade. There was a channel down and it was a second entry short and it triggered me and went up. And I remember posting it later and they went, there's a small break there. And it was a small, literally, you know, it was a tiny bit, you know, let's think in a couple of millimeters. So the trouble is, when you get stopped out with something like that, you tend to get a little bit anal about these, you know, overshoots or little things. But I think that's big enough to be an overshoot if you want to say it is. But I tend to just err on the side of caution. If I assumed it might operate slightly differently, it tends to keep me a bit safer, I think, anyway. But I mean, as we trade and develop, we're constantly fine-tuning our skills and we're constantly learning, and every mistake we make, something gets logged in your brain, and you adjust your trading and thought process ever so slightly, and that's why I'm a big fan of the word forging. We're being forged into trader, because it's a moulding process, isn't it? You know, it reminds me of the what do they call it, the luge? You know, when they slide down that big thing, there's a bunch of different words for them, isn't there? When they slide down that big sort of snow ice tunnel. And it's almost like for the first sort of couple of few years, you're constantly bouncing off the sides, and then you start to find, you know, a nice smooth area where you start to get a little bit of success, but occasionally you still got to hit the sides, and every time you do it hurts and you learn something. But I remember when I first started, I first bought Mac's package, and I remember watching his video, and he was saying, it's tough, it's hard to learn to trade, just like learning to be a doctor or learning to be a solicitor. And I thought, how can it be the same as learning to be a doctor? It takes years. And now I'm trading, I'm starting to realise you may not, you know, need the education of a doctor, but it's going to take just as long. It can take years and years. And, you know, it's almost a case of you never really master it. You're always learning. You'll get to the stage where you'll be good at it. But, you know, every day's a school day. It ain't easy. No, it ain't, mate. But it feels worth it. Yeah, when you have a winning trade and you're $375 up, it's the best job in the world. But when you lose 2 trades in a row and you're $400-500 down, it's the worst trade. It's the worst job in the world. But I like to well, I'll tell you what, let me ask you a question, Kay. You've been trading, what did you say, 8 years, something like that? Do you find the stress levels get better with time? Now, common sense would say they would be. When you've done something day in, day out, it can't have the same effect. It has to wear off. You know, it's like when you first meet your girlfriend. You know, you're sex mad and blah, 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 and you're madly in love and everything's fantastic. And then a few years down the line, things start to fade just a little touch, you know? It's never quite as new, is it? So, you know, now just in case my wife is watching or watches, I still love you. You're very, you know, you're beautiful looking, but you know what I'm saying. But, you know, I have to be careful what I'm saying, just in case. I got to say, to be honest with you, my wife is very supportive of trading. Probably because I've told her how much money you can earn. But she's very supportive. She knows how much money it's costing me. And when I told her a few weeks ago, I said I've paid it's cost me, including everything, about $13,000. I expected her to have a heart attack on the spot. But she just went, ah, right. I was quite shocked. When I say $13,000, I mean £2,000 worth of computer equipment and desk and £1,000 for the Ninja Trader license and a couple of payments to Mac, £350, which I paid when I learned to currency trade, trade copy, just all sorts of bits and pieces, but about $13,000, something like that. I just took that short 2 points. This pushes my 1p account over the payoff threshold. My first payment. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good for you, Rodian. It's so nice getting your first payment because up until then, it's put in. And when you get your first payment, you actually feel like you finally got something back. So good for you. So if you're going to take a payment, make sure you don't trade that account because the last thing you're going to do is slip back in. If you're going to take a payment, because I think, let me have a look, payment requests are between the 1st and the 5th of the month, so from tomorrow until Monday. And you get paid. Approvals may be between the 6th and the 14th of the month. Request for payouts, yeah. So yeah, make sure you've got a deal account. You've got to have a deal account. So go on to deal, DEEL, set up a deal account. Make sure you've got somewhere for it to go because it automatically goes into deal. Good for you, mate. It's a nice feeling, that is. And you deserve it. If you've managed to get a PA account up, then you deserve every bit of luck there, mate. So good for you. What's the update payout rules? I haven't printed in my little stuck on the wall monthly payments request and approval dates request and payout dates. You make a request on the 1st and the 5th of the month. That's paid on the 15th, and the same in the middle of the month from the 15th for the 20th, paid on the 30th. There you go. Typed all that myself. If you have a request and the account is showing pending and the account is blown, the payment is stopped. If the payment request is showing as approved and then the account's blown, the payment still goes through. It's always nice to know that. But good on you, mate. Good on you, Rodian. Deal is all set up. Excellent. Nice. Good news. Yeah, it's nice to have some good news. It's a nice feeling when you get your first payment. It's a lovely feeling. Okay, now there's a failure here, possible second entry long, which is triggered. There's a failure. Trouble is, it's just congested, so there's not really much I can do here. Too dangerous. It might just tank, but to be fair, it's a little bit sideways and choppy here, and that stopped just where that line is. That might drop right down. Trouble is, it's just a bit risky because we've had this overshoot, so it may go a bit sideways for a while, and that might, it's triggered, and you may get a couple of points, but you might not. Yeah, it's a nice feeling getting your first bit of money. It is nice to, now a lot of people say that, or don't take too much money, let the account build and all this sort of thing. But I think when you're putting in constantly, I think it's sometimes, if you've got a bunch of PA accounts, sometimes it's nice to take a payment. And okay, yeah, so if you leave that one a little bit short, you can reduce your contract. And let's face it, if you do blow it, what's the worst that's happened? It's an evaluation, another $140. But in return, you've got $2,000. This channel is giving me anxiety. Is that me giving you anxiety, Kay, or I can shut up if you like, mate. I do waffle on a bit. Turn me off. You got a volume switch. Turn me off. Move your channel fits nicely off the initial top and run down. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Yeah, that'll do better. That's better. Well done. Thanks for that, mate. We got anything from Mac yet, have we, or is it a bit early? It's a bit early, yeah. It's fit nice there. That's a nice channel, that is. Still plenty of liquidity down here to let's have a look. Strong at 41.47, so for me this is coming down. So let's have a look. So trouble is, you've got to be a bit careful here, because have you taken any more of... Oh, JJ. Okay, so new eye. Looks like a couple of legs up. New eye, lower high, failure, which is triggered. I think that might just... You might be alright if you've taken that. Let's get rid of that now. Touch, touch. Strong liquidity at 75 still, so there's certainly 2 points down there. Yeah, I thought as much. Trouble is, there's no real setup there. You could have taken the failure, but it's going a bit sideways, and not only that, I didn't have my chart adjusted. Now, some of you kind gentlemen have told me to adjust it, and it's worked actually. Fits nice actually. Touch, touch, touch. Yeah, that's much better. Unfortunately, no real setup there. If you got in that failure, I think that was probably the better. The trouble is, it was a nice... I like that bar when they push down below. They push up, push down, finish on the low. The top of the bar is just nicely there. The trouble is, it is a little bit congested there, but on a strong downtrend, that would probably be the bar to take you a bit lower, but the failure would have worked anyway. Gotta run. Yeah, take it easy, Kay. Take it easy, bud. Okay, so has that liquidity got picked up yet? Not quite. Interesting. Yeah, see, I can't see liquidity on the... well, not much liquidity to push that higher. But it's clearly pushed up. Bob, big reversal. You reckon, Bob, do you? Well, the liquidity I can see right the way down as far as here. I can't see it myself, but been known to be wrong. Strong liquidity at 70. There we go. So I would expect that. And the fact that that's pushed up and come back down to there tells me it's struggling to get above there now. Let me have a look at the bigger picture. I would say we had a day like this similar the other day, but I think it was a downtrend as well. Let's go from here. Yeah, we may have something like that. Let's have a look. Okay. Interesting. Kind of nice bearish bar that. I like something about it I don't like though. Still strong liquidity at 70. Trouble is, on these strong days, every time it comes in and finishes bearish, it comes down, doesn't it? So something's making me nervous about that. I'm going to leave that alone. Something I don't like about this. All this movement, no entries, is pissing me off. You and me both, mate. It is frustrating when you have a choppy day like yesterday, and look, we get a lovely trend working down like that, but not a lot of it. I mean, there was a second entry there, but I can't see anything obvious. You may have took the lower high or the failure, but it's a bit choppy there. So I would say if you didn't take anything there, that's probably a fair comment. But yeah, there's not a massive amount. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, does it? It's only a first entry. Yeah. What, that one there? See, the thing is with those, now there's schools of thought there. Now, first entry, second entry. It's a second entry short. Now, some say, oh, yeah, but it's made a matching low. Now, apparently, and I've heard Max say this, you can recount it, restart the count, or count it. So, there you go. But there's schools of thought. I've had people. Okay, leg up, 2 legs up. Yesterday was a great day short. Every day's a great day for you, Harjit. You seem to kill it, mate. Now, was I right in saying you've been trading for 23 years? That's probably why. Now, answer me this, mate. Do the stresses of when you've been trading a couple of years, you know, the stresses and that you have, do they eventually wear off at some point? I'm assuming they must do, and I'm assuming losses don't hurt as much. Please tell me it's so. Okay, possible second entry short. I don't like the fact that this is... it could be breaking out here a little bit. It's funny that's triggered, and that looks to me like it's going to stop that out. Let's have a look. There is a bit of liquidity at 80, so I'd expect that to stop out. But it might not. Long, are you longer? Yeah, 41.76. Yeah, that might be long then. So there's a failure there. And that looks to me like it's going to stop that out. You just didn't like it. No, that's fair enough, mate. That's the trouble is, because it's a grey area trading. There are a lot of things that some people, I mean, sometimes I see Mac. I mean, I saw Mac take Mark II trades and they were both doges a few weeks ago. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Some, you know, there is a bit of grey area, so there's a lot of room for manoeuvre. Sometimes I'll see, you know, I'll leave trades and I'll see some people have marked them and I'm thinking, I didn't think they were that good, but that's the trouble, really. Okay, there's a failed second entry short there, but it's a little bit congested here. There's also a second entry short which is triggered. Now, in a downtrend, you'd expect it to come down, but it is above the EMA. So it might come down or it might push up. I would have said it's probably more likely going to come down just because of the strong downtrend. But let's have a look. There is some strong liquidity down here, so I still expect to move down. Whether this will push up or not, but I'm not a fan of taking them with a small break like that when it's above the EMA. I prefer to look for the lower highs. Just experience tells me when I've lost trades and cocked up and I think, damn, don't take that first break. Give it a chance to come lower. Straight away, that's closed above the EMA, so it's clearly congested. 15 minutes. You get better at it. That's all I can say. Yeah, I'm assuming, just answer me this, does the stress of losing start to go at some point? Okay, so if you took that, then you got stopped out. Oh no, maybe not. But you will do. I can't see how that won't stop that out. I don't think it'd go all the way up there and not stop that out. There we go. So there was a few shorts there. We had that little pop there. It's a second entry short. It depends how you had this drawn, but trouble is I don't tend to get in when we get that first break. I like to give it a chance to make a lower high, really, just in case I do get caught on the wrong side. I want them to retest 41.95 up here. 41.95, so that's around about here, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes these break and move down quickly. Other times I'll go one leg, two leg, and then drop. Or other times, obviously, I've seen them come back 50% as well. So it could come back up here. I don't use these much, but Yeah, there is still some strong liquidity around about this area, but it's strong down below, so I think we're going to make some more downward movement, but let me just see. Obviously, if you have got a bigger channel, it's quite likely it could move up to this top area. Whether this is a spiking channel, I'm not sure, but does anybody know if we've had anything from Mac yet? Hey, G Money, how you doing, buddy? That's a tough question. All things equal, yeah, it does. Excellent, brilliant. Thank God for that. I've definitely got to say I am a single malt fan, and my single malt consumption is rose ever so slightly since I started trading. I go through about a bottle a month. Actually, it's not that much. It's not that much. But it's amazing what 2 or 3 double scotches in the garden does after a bad day. Just as you start to hit that little area where you start to slip a little bit and you just relax a bit, and you like couldn't give a shit then. Okay, maybe a bit of a range area in motion, possibly. Possibly. Tick Hunter, is it just me or does Mac's videos not load on his website? Sometimes they don't, mate. You have to give them a second, they'll reload, or I'm sure there's a button which says if the video doesn't load, hit the button again. So what do I mean by all things equal? Well, for example, let's just say your wife works and you level your trading and she quits and loses her job. Now you don't want income. Yeah, I have said to her, actually, I said, once I start earning some decent money, you can quit your job. Now my luck, she'll quit her job and I'll end up having a bad time. Yeah. Okay, strong liquidity at 81, so I expect a possible break out of this, and strong at 75. So maybe we're going to have a fail. Oh, that's gone. We may have a little fail breakout here. I think it's a range, and the reason I'm saying range, because obviously, in fact, let's bring that down a bit. Touch, 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 close enough. Whether you might want to take it to these tops. Okay, once, twice, 3 times. You may say that is a triple test. Once, twice, 3 times. But it's in this range, so I prefer to do the once, twice, 3 times. Bingo. Yeah, it does. Excellent. Yeah. I think it's like anything. If you do it full time, day in, day out, at some point, it's just gonna. It can't help but get better, can it? You can't do the same thing, you know. Now, years ago, in my younger days, I used to do a little bit of skydiving, and the first time you throw yourself out of a plane, it's absolutely terrifying. And then when you get a bit further down the line, it's just like anything. You do something again and again, and it starts to get easy. And it's anything with emotions, isn't it? And I've said this before. If you're going through like a relationship breakup or something like that, and your wife turns up and says she's off, she's met someone, straight away you've got big, powerful emotions. Now, at some point, obviously, the more you get used to it, the more they start to fade off. It's like anything. With time, things change. So that's what I put it down to. Okay, so there's obviously a lot more liquidity down at the 75 and 70 mark. So I expect this to come down at some point. So it's like a little channel there with a little break and a new high. I bought a new house at the peak of my trading success. Good for you. Definitely bought the stress. That's the trouble, really. When you start buying big things, you've got that's the trouble. all I say, for me, it's nice to have, if you can have 20, 30, 40,000 in the bank, then at least if you have a tough week or a tough month, you know, you've got extra money coming in. But if once you're comfortable, it's like anything, isn't it? If someone all of a sudden turned around and give me 150,000 for my, in my bank now, all of a sudden trading these PAs wouldn't seem like nothing. But yeah. Okay, excuse me, just for 2 minutes. If this gets above 41.86, then bullish to 42.10. In my humble opinion, we respect your opinion, mate. You're probably the most experienced trader here. In fact, next time you tell me to sell, I think I'm just going to listen and just sell it. The only trouble is you have your stop a lot higher than us, don't you? But we tend to go for around about the 2 points in ours, whereas you go for a bigger move, mate. But yeah, so if it gets above 41.86, so that is, yeah. So we need to stay around there, don't we, really? We do see some, there is quite a bearish bar there, but it is just sideways. It may come down, but I don't know. Not a massive fan. 76, there's liquidity at. And 75 as well. Paste. So 76 and 75 and 70. So my feelings are, from what I can see and what's happened, we're going to work our way down. So there is that little channel. We've got to break a new high now. Obviously these little channels and ranges don't necessarily play out the same, but from zero stress back to level 50. Yeah, I think what I'd rather do is save the money and buy the house outright. At least you're done then, aren't you? I think if you see the sort of the feeling I get, the thought I have, if you can get, say, 20 accounts, and let's say you build it to, say, $12,000, okay, and you're trading 2 contracts. Now, you should quite comfortably be able to make $2,000 per month on each account. If you've got $12,000 and you trade let's say you take $2,000, which leaves you $10,000, that's quite a cushion. And if you trade 2 contracts, you'll comfortably make over $2,000 a month per account. That's only $500. I mean, trading 2 contracts, all you've got to do is get 5 points per week. It's an average of a point a day. So it's not a lot really, but regardless of what you make, I mean, you should comfortably be able to make $2,000. And if you can make $2,000, if you've got $10,000 per account. All you've got to do is make an average of $2,000 a month, which is not a huge amount, and then you pay yourself $2,000 and leave the 10 in there. Anything more you make above that $2,000, that keeps topping that account up. Interesting. So, I mean, that's $40,000. That's serious money. That's $40,000 a month is life-changing money. And all you've really got to do is trade 2 contracts on one account and the rest copy. Buy zone is till 41.7. But goodbye trade is above. So then we'll retest the 41.86. There is some liquidity around a 41.87. So, okay. So now, would you trade that as a fell breakout? Part of me would. The trouble is, at the moment we've come down and we've pushed up, so it might really, that may not really be. If I get rid of that, okay, so that works without it, doesn't it? So we've been coming down, we've pushed out, we've had a break, and we've had 2 pushes up to a new high. Okay, so that's made you 2 points comfortably anyway. But the trouble is, I think in all fairness, it's probably not a bigger range. But there is an area that's probably better. So you'd call that a fell breakout, wouldn't you? Pushed in strongly. So if you went for 2 points, that made it in a split second. So I don't think that was a bad trade, actually. The trouble is, with people mentioning about long, I get a little bit wary, but we've broken out of it. Nice bearish bar, and that comfortably made 2 points. Lower high there. So now I would say if this breaks out the bottom, we're going to see this area. Trouble is, it's actually closed right in there, so that makes it that little bit more risky. You don't want to really be going short there. Break up, channel, break, 2 pushes up to a new high. 7 PAs and not stop until 20. Good for you, mate. I'll have 5. Well, I've got 3. 2 more evaluations have passed. So, how many are you? Are they $50,000 G money? Are they? I'm assuming they are. They seem to be probably the best value and the easiest to pass. Has anybody got a book map up, by the way? There's a big thick red line around 41.84. Is that stopped? Does anybody know? It's got 252 on it. I'm not sure what it is. See, that's the trouble with all this liquidity. We can't see where aggressive buyers and sellers are. When that popped out, usually when we have these ranges, these little areas of congestion or ranges, whatever you want to call them, and they break out, most of the time they fail. That one failed quite quickly. You made your 2 points in a heartbeat there. 50, yeah, they're about the best value, aren't they? And how many contracts do you trade as a rule, mate? Okay, so there's a failure there. Now there's also a second entry long off this key entry point. So if that breaks below there, I can see us now working down, and that looks like 2 legs to me. So 1 leg. So I'm not going to take it because I'm not trading in this range. But there is a second entry long there, which is triggered. So if it does break below this, that's where your stop's going to be. This, if it does break below, and funnily enough, look where your let's have a look. It's just a bit congested and a bit dangerous. I want something. It is a failure, but if it does break below here, then I expect it to come down. Okay, so 1 more tick below there, and then if you did trade that long, I don't know why you would, but okay. So I think you're okay now. I can't see that pushing back in. But we'll go for 5 contracts. Really? If you're building up, the trouble is, I think you could lose about 7. I mean, on a see, if I was trading 2 contracts, I would say my loss is around about the $250 $200. So maybe a touch more. So maybe nine losses and your account's gone. So if you're trading four losses and your account's gone. So you've got to be extra cautious. Okay, so there was a failure there. If you took that, you got stopped out because it's clearly shit and congested, which is why I never got involved. Strong liquidity all around this area, so I expect we've got this, clearly got this channel, we've had a break, so I expect a new low, but I expect this low to come off a really good quality signal bar, and we haven't seen anything yet. I thought that might be it, but it actually closed right on that line, which everything's closing on that line, so it's clearly playing a part. So I'd want a really nice big long signal bar, nice and strong. I would never enter with 5. Heck, I never enter with 2. What do you mean contracts, bud? Because you mentioned enter with, you mentioned, but I will go for 5 contracts many times. See, for me, I was always a fan of 2 contracts on a $50,000 account, but I found it adds a bit too much stress for me. So at the moment, I've got 1 on 2 contracts and the other 2 on 1. So I don't mind having a small amount that may build money quicker, that you can maybe take a bit of money off and let the others grow. Rhodey and I have a bunch of 50k PAs, but lately I've been having good luck with 25s. I only trade 1 or 2 contracts at a time, and 25 account faster pass. Yeah, you're not wrong. And as we know, you've got a payment, so good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, so one leg. Let's see what happens. For me, this is now pushing down. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've broken a little bit out the bottom there. That's the first time it's broken out, so I would say some liquidity at 77. There's some at 76. There's strong at 75. Yeah, so this is coming down for me. And I think it's out enough now to get some interest. So let's have a look. So I expect that. I don't think it'll go back in personally now. I do expect a new low. Interesting. Day finish. Good luck, everyone. Good on you, Arminas, sorry. I'll get your name right. 2-0. That's a good day, that is. Yeah, I think it's a good time to give in there if you get 2 in a row. I think that's a nice result, that, for a day, 2 trades. Trouble is, you go for a third one, you end up losing one, and then you're 1 up then. Same here. I like 25s now, really. Interesting. More typically wait for best setups to take a few trades, but more contracts. Nasdaq need to come down slightly, 20 points. Nice. Okie dokie. So, yeah, they're strong down here. So, to be honest, if you pass all PAs, then build up equity. I will pass trailing drawdown. All the accounts become the same essentially. Yeah, they do. I'm at 12 ticks most days. It's all right, that. It's okay. I tend to go for... Depends. If it's a strong downtrend and I can see, you know, nicely, slowly grinding down, I may hold on to them a little bit longer. Maybe wait for them to get to 4 points, then put me stop at 2 points. So I've, you know, secured 2 point scalp and then drop my profit down. So I tend to go for a bit more. Okay, there we go. So that's that measured leg made. There's some liquidity around about the 76, so I expect that to come down some more. And obviously we expect a new low, but with what I can see it coming down further. So I am wondering now whether we've got something bigger cooking. That's getting in the way, isn't it? See what we got from Mackett. Failure. Come back up, retest this. I don't think it's the worst place in the world to go short. Trouble is we got push down. We sort of retested this bottom line. You could say that bottom line is maybe there, in which case we've touched the bottom of it. So I would say if that triggers, I would expect it then to at least take this area here. I'm not getting in on it. It's a bit too far away from the EMA for my comfort. See if it triggers. Okay, that's triggered. One leg, two leg. Somebody may have bought that. It's possible. Thinking we're in a range by the bottoms, but I don't think it's going to go. I just don't like it. It's too far. I'd say it's going to come down, but I'd much prefer it to push up. So I'll look daily charts. So we got nothing yet. Nothing yet. Come on, Mac. We need you, brother. Strong liquidity at 75. I expect that to hit that. And at 75 will push us just below the low of the day and the low of this channel. So we've had one leg, two legs up and two legs down. You can trade up to 80 contract eventually, which is all you need. 80 contracts. Oh, if you count the whole thing. Oh, God, yeah. I'd say personally, if you look at the Panda, he trades $300,000 accounts. I don't see why. One, if you're blowing loads of them, which he clearly is, it's costing you a lot more. And on a $50,000 account, when you're going to trade more than 10 accounts, if you're trading 10 accounts and you're making 2 points a day, that's $1,000 a day on 20 accounts. That's $20,000. Why would you ever need to trade more than 10 accounts? Okay, second entry short there. Kind of like that.
Order submitted.
Don't get me.
Order submitted.
I got one stroke or twice. I'm really nervous in this trade. Really nervous. Really nervous. I don't know. It's because I'm up a bit. Oh, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Got my hair standing on end. Ah. Strong at 75. Oh, don't stop me out. Oh, don't do it. Oh, I hate this. I want out of this trade. Come down. Come on. I like the trade. It's confirmed that 1, 2, 3. So it's clearly a second entry short. Sometimes you've got to do it and just trust it, haven't you? 5, 6, 7, 2 points. What can I say? I've just got to do it. I can't be frightened to get in. Looks like may get another leg up. Oh no. Come down. I want to get out of it.
Order filled.
Something I just did not like there. Oh, I just had a bad feeling there. I think the trade's fine. I just lost confidence a bit there. I think the trade's a good trade. It's a second entry short. I've got to learn to just trust them. It's just when it went back like that. I saw a comment, someone saying we may get another leg up, and I just thought, oh, bollocks. But the liquidity is strong at 75. I don't know. It's a nice trade. It's a nice trade. It's clearly a second entry short. We've pushed out, retested the bottom of this. I think the trade's lovely. I just lost confidence there for some reason. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's a second entry short, right off the key entry point, right off the EMA, nice and bearish. I just lost my confidence there. I think it's going to tank.
Order submitted.
With a limit order. No, forget it.
Order
What's done was
cancelled.
done. Not high probably though. No, it is a second entry short, clearly coming down. Anyway, I'm out of it now. I got a tick out of it anyway. Better than a kick in the teeth, isn't it? That's just something I didn't like about it. I just had a bad feeling. My hair was standing on end. I think it was because we had these few little green bars here, but I think the trade's okay. Let's see if it would have made 2 points if you went tick below it. Let's have a look. Where's the 2 points? I can see that making 2 points. I just don't know. Good man, lads. Yeah. I think it's okay. The trade looks okay. I mean, we touched here, we touched here, we touched here. It's a nice bearish bar. I think it's going to drop. But you know, when you just sometimes they go a bit sideways, and trouble is my confidence level's a bit low at the moment. I've had a few rough days, a couple of rough days. Yeah, that's looking mega bearish. That is 75 strong. I think that's going to drop quickly. Any idea why Apex site is down, or is it just me? All right, bud. How you doing, Marlon? It was yesterday, mate, for a bit. They were doing some maintenance on it, so I don't know whether it is. Not the best time to do maintenance on it if it's down on the last day of the 80% off. Yeah, this for me is going to push down. How you doing, buddy? It's just hovering around here, really. There's 1 leg, 2 legs down, so people may have bought that. So once it surpasses those stops, I think it'll hit this, but I just don't know. I didn't like that. I'm not sure, bud. Let me just see if I can get on my phone, see if I can. I think the trade's good, but I'm losing my confidence a little bit. And when you're up, I try and be extra cautious. Now, I think the trade looked okay. What I didn't like is those few bars there, but then it's nice and bearish. And it's the third touch of this. It is a second entry short. Server maintenance again. Why? It's the last day of the 80% off. Why would you have maintenance on the last day? That's just idiocy, that is. Server, that makes no sense, does it? You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. This is my theory. It's probably wrong. Past 2 more emails, wanted to double check with the site, but it's down. Do not long this. No, I wouldn't long it. For me, it's crashing down. I can absolutely see this 100% really, although I got out of that trade. It's just I was down like $750 and I'm getting back there now, and I just didn't want to take something. Now, the trade looked okay. Obviously, it went a bit sideways, but look at that failure now. So there's a failure there. So if that triggers, I think it'll go boom quickly. What Apex did, we had an email that said to encourage people to sign up on evaluations, they were giving you an extra. If you made 10% extra more than last month, Apex would give you 10% extra out of their pocket as like a thank you. So I think there's probably sold a lot more evaluations and they're going to pay a ton of money out of this. So they're closing the site temporarily. NASDAQ is away by 10 points to touch downside. SPY is bullish. Means after NASDAQ touches, it may sharp up move. Interesting. Yeah, I hate it when it goes slow like this. I mean, it's a second entry short. What I like about it is we've had 2 legs down. We've pushed strongly out. We've come past and we've tested it once. The bottom of this range, we've tested it twice on that bullish bar. And we've pushed in and come down and closed it and tested it again. So we've tested it a few times there. So for me, that's coming down. Now, if this was my first trade and I had those couple of losses days, I'd wait because I think when that breaks here, I think it'll drop quickly and at that 75 where there's very strong liquidity. Now, sometimes trades do take their time and they go a bit sideways, but from my experience, most of the time, they'll work their way down. We haven't hit my 2-point area, although I got out of the trade, but in fact, yeah, I waited for it to tick and dropped it there. So I'd say this is pushing down. It's looking bearish. The liquidity's down here. We're clearly moving down. We've had a break out of this channel. We've had a break, 1 leg, 2 legs off, and we're slowly working down. And we'll break these lows. I'm confident of it. Are we going to scare a few shorts out? Yeah. They are getting shorts into the squeeze, yeah. Yeah, that's the trouble sometimes. If you took that short, you took that short, you took that short, then sometimes it'll just fire up there. Okay, that's looking nice. Now, when we break 1 tick below there, I think after 1 leg, 2 legs, there may be some stops there. And once it gets below this, I think it'll move down quite nicely there. Okay. So another quick push now. Nice quick push. Bang, go on. I'm expecting a really quick movement. Okay, I would have had the 2 points anyway, just. But I expect a quick move down to here. Still strong down here. I would have got me 2 points anyway, but is it going to come out and take these short stops out? Ooh. Okay, that's the key one, I think. If you took the failure, ooh, interesting. What's going to happen now? Yeah, I took that short there, so my stop. I think that's quite the sort of highest bar there. So let's see if that would have been taken out. I would have got 2 points, but I'm kind of pleased I got out because I just can't stand this torture. SPY now. Yeah. Okay, if that finishes bearish, I'd say here is a good one. If that finishes bearish, I'd say that's the way down to 75. There's a channel going here. It's clearly lower lows. Touch a bunch of times. Touch working. Failed breakout. It's retested the bottom of this range again. If that finishes bearish, I would say that's the way down to there. Well, it hasn't, so. Yeah, it's not a good time to have maintenance, have that site down when they've got the last day of the 80% evaluations. I know it's up to midnight, so there's plenty of time, but besides the point, I could be working sideways to the larger daily. Yeah, I'm still seeing that strong liquidity down here. That's gone now. And we haven't made a new low yet, and I expect to make this. We've got this big channel down here, one leg, two leg, and a short, there's like a smaller channel then. We've had a break from it, a couple of pushes up to a new high. So for me, this is working down. I'm quite confident we're going to break that low, and it's looking bearish. We could have had, we've taken a few stops out there. Maybe if you took the failure or that one, you've taken the stops out. But I'd say this is likely going to come down now. Hopefully they're going to extend it again. Yeah, I mean, they've had it on for a month. The trouble is, they've got to the stage now where no one's going to pay 50% anymore. I'm certainly not. I'm never paying more than 80% again. So that's the trouble, is when they have it for such a long period of time, people get used to it, and they just won't pay anything more, which tells me I think they'll... I think the 80% will be the norm. I mean, it used to be full price, didn't it? Then it was, half price for a while, for probably a year or so. Then they had that first 80%. I remember that 80%. I remember Marlon on here, Light Switch Trader, messaged me, and I thought he'd been drinking. He went, "Yeah, they're having 80% off," and I went, "Yeah, right." I don't think so, mate, and they did. Yeah, I'd say this is quite likely going to break these lows. There is strong liquidity there. You'd expect to break that low. Competition is good for us, absolutely. Interesting. I can't see that pushing up now. I think that might just trap some longs, actually. If that finishes bullish, I can see it triggering, touching the underside of this and then coming down sharply. Interesting. So let's see if that triggers. If it does, I think it'll come down. That's triggered. Down you come. So that would be a second entry short if it closes below here. I think I don't. Any other time I'd have taken this, but I'm just very cautious at the moment. It's a little bit messy. It's a bit odd looking there, but we're still likely to hit this the low of the day after this break, and this is a channel with a break, and that you may call that a higher low. Well, it is a higher low. Sorry, a lower high or a higher high, higher low. which is triggered. So if it breaks below there, I would say then this is our way down to strong liquidity is here. So that's a second entry short, but it does look a little bit congested. Part of me wants to take that. Interesting. So if you did take that, you'd have got your 2 points quick. If you took that when it broke below there, we had a big push down, but then we've pushed back up strongly. I don't think it's a major issue that I can still see coming down. So if you took that as a second entry short, I don't think it's a terrible trade. It is a little bit congested there. So if you're a little bit extra cautious, you may not take that, but I'm still expecting a new low here anyway. There's a lot of liquidity down here as well. So that's 2 reasons to come down here. We've got a channel, we've got a break of it. So that's 3 reasons to come down below here. And this bigger channel with 2 legs up and then slow pushes down. So for me, this is the area. Once we hit this, we'll make a low of the day. So that, I don't know, that was a terrible trade, but I'm just trying to be extra cautious. Now, someone mentioned possible reversal there, so there may even be a few stops under there. But after we break below here, I think we'll hit this pretty sharpish. Okay, we've touched that now. So that liquidity has been sucked up. So one more tick and then we'll have broke that low. Okay, beautiful. So that's all played out exactly how I thought it would. Big channel down. We've had a break of it. 1 leg up, 2 legs up, and then slowly working down. That was just a break from this channel there. It's clearly working in this channel. Clearly working in this top tier. We've had that break, push up, pushed up a few times, came back down. That higher low or lower, I can't think, is triggered. Nice, pretty good bearish bar, and I think it's fair to say when you break below there, there's going to be a few stops. And then I think that's the way down then, and it did. It came down nicely. So there was a trade there. I dare say some people would take that. I would say probably someone like the Marcos and Daniels would mark that. Mac will mark it. Lanstradamus. Well, that's the beauty of having this book map. I'd have never known that. The only thing I would have assumed is we'd have made a new low, but I'd have never have seen the areas. But you can call me that if you like. I don't mind. But there's more liquidity down at the 70 as well. So, but yeah, you may have taken that trade. I'm just, because it is a little bit, just a touch congested, I think it just adds that little bit of extra worry to it. And my nerves, I'm like a bag of shit at the moment, my nerves. So, second entry short. I only took that for a tick, but there we go. It would have worked. It held anyway. But I don't know. It's just, I took it and then just instantly regretted it for some reason. I don't know why. Because I don't think it's a terrible trade. So, I feel embarrassed writing 1/4 of a point there, profit. I'll give you a ring on the way to work if you're around in a few hours. We're going out to a barbecue this evening, bud. What time is it now? Yeah, we're going out to a barbecue in about just after trading, so I'm going to be probably worse for wear in a couple of hours, but I'll be around tomorrow, mate. I'm not doing nothing tomorrow or after trading tomorrow. Maybe sitting in the garden having a few whiskies. Strong liquidity at 70, right there. So this for me is coming down some more. So touch, touch, touch. Not only that as well, I think that channel looks quite nice, which is probably yeah, it seems to be working down in that area there, really. Touch, close enough. Touch. Touch, touch. Yeah, I think that channel looks okay, actually. Let's just shove that aside. The range is over the last hour, fell out the bottom, then fell out the top, then broke out with trend. Pretty textbook, right? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get any more text than that, does it? Channel break, new low. One leg, two legs. Yeah, it's just got a bit choppy here. And the trouble is, we've had choppy days, haven't we? And the trouble is about choppy days, they give you bad memories because we've all been knocked around. So it's like a plan, yeah. We've all been knocked around on them. It's clearly working down in that area. That's a nice channel for me, that is. It fits pretty well. But yeah, when it starts to go like this, it's just an uncomfortable feeling. I'm tempted to start having just 2 shots of whiskey before I trade. try to up the nerves a little bit. Trouble is, it's finding that right balance. Too many and you go off the rails. But what I will say is, wherever you get stressful jobs like fighter pilots, they take some sort of drug, don't they? It's like amphetamines or something, isn't it? Just to keep them on form. So I think if you've got a high stressful job, it's okay to take some form of drug. So I'm going to have something that just takes away the nerves, I think. Perhaps Nick could, Nick's a pharmacist, perhaps he could hook us up with something to chill us out a bit. What do you suggest, Nick? Something to take the edge off it. I've heard of people taking beta blockers. But we could do with some sort of drug that just takes the stress levels. Citalopram, that's one. I don't know what they call it in the US. I know that's one over here. Got a text message to my phone from Apex saying they are trying to fix the issue. Yeah. They actually had a competition for the affiliates that said, whatever percentage you get more this month, Crestor, something like that. They said, whatever you get above how much you made last month, how much you made this month, whatever you get above percentage-wise, they'll match it. So what I'm thinking of is they've realised they've got into trouble, so they've got to slow down the evaluations. They've shut down. Yeah, beta blockers. It's finding a balance, isn't it? You take too much and you'll fall asleep. Ashwagandha, after trying everything else, this thing is amazing. Ashwagandha, I've heard of that. Isn't it like a berry or something? I'm sure I've seen the powder version. I do a little bit of a healthy smoothie type stuff where I've put things like that in, certain powders in. Propanolol, or is that propanadol? Made me lose focus. There's bound to be something. I want to try microdosing mushrooms. Jamie, talk to Marlon. Suppose that, yeah, strange. I'm not the first person I've heard says that, microdosing mushrooms. I've had one experience and one experience only on mushrooms when I was about 30. Wasn't very pleasant. All I can say is giant lobsters were involved and I spent the night in hospital. But that's a story for a quiet day. Curious how sufficient. Curious how significant. They boost it. Ashwagandha, I've heard of that. That's some kind of, is it a plant or something? I've heard it powdered or something, powder form. I've used all sorts of stuff in smoothies, I have. There's all sorts of stuff you can get. Okay, so there is a bearish bar there, but it's kind of in a nice place to go short from, but I'm not a fan of the bar. Nervous with serotonin activity. Haven't we stuck on it? Tapered off it. Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? I haven't tried them since I was a kid. Yeah, I think I had way too much. We ate the mushrooms, drunk the coffee, and that's one of the few things I remember. I remember coming round the following morning. My brother was there, my wife was there, my mum was there, and I sort of came round and it just dawned on me what the hell had happened. I had flashbacks for flipping years after that, I did. I remember when I was on them being desperate to go for a pee, to go to the loo, but I couldn't figure out how to get it out my trousers. So I remember being in a car stuck on a motorway a couple of years later and I was busting for a pee. And I remember I had a flashback. It was flipping weird. I had to get my mate to stop over on the motorway. But no, I'm not a fan of the stuff that messes with your head. It's a root plant. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. I've taken these types of... There's some other root. There's a few of them. I've had things like the algae and all that sort of stuff in smoothies. All sorts of stuff. I've grown microgreens and all sorts of stuff. Wow, look at that. So... There was a bearish bar at the EMA there, but this I didn't like this, and I didn't like that either. Some big stems at the bottom there, so that doesn't surprise me that that's pushed off. We should use this. You know that stuff the Watsits use? They call it cats, don't they? What do they call them? Who uses it? They're off the coast of Africa. What's the North African? What's it called? What are they called? Oh, they chew that cat leaves, don't they? That's supposed to do something to you. Right, okay. One leg up, two leg up. Big bearish bar. Not a fan. It's above the EMA. That measured leg has played out, so it is feasible we could move up a bit. Having said that, there's strong liquidity around about the 73. And also down at 70, so I'd still expect it to keep coming down, but Somali, that's the stuff. What? Where you been hiding, mate? As soon as I mention some sort of drug that you chew, what hops up? So you're our local cat specialist, are you, mate? I know, what is it? Some sort of a leaf, isn't it? Or a small branchy, twiggy leaf or something you chew and it's supposed to do something. I don't know what. Nothing from what, as soon as we mention drugs, the master comes in. Yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking of, Somalia. Where are you in South Africa, Wood, anywhere? It's definitely on my list to go to, South Africa. I just want to sit at Newlands Stadium and watch the cricket with Table Mountain in the background. Looks incredible. In fact, I've got it on my Facebook profile, I think, somewhere. I only drink a single whiskey once a week. You and me both, mate. I have a single malt. Well, I only drink one a day, I think. One shot a day, I do. There we go. That's where I want to sit there. Can you see that? Newlands Stadium, South Africa. And that looked incredible. Imagine sitting watching the cricket, having a few beers in the sunshine with Table Mountain at the back. Wow, that looks amazing. Amazing. Okay, so that has worked. Now, we obviously had a bit of a break, but we've adjusted that line, so we've had a break there. And it does look like one leg up, two legs up. Trouble is, now we've surpassed that measured move, I'd rather let it continue lower before I think about going short again. 500 kilometers east of Cape Town on the Indonesian. Oh, fantastic. East. Southeast. I've been to Kenya. I got married out in Kenya. Indian Ocean's stunning. I've never experienced ocean that warm in my life. It's definitely on my list to go to. You might like Lagavulin. What is that? Is that some sort of other tablet, is it? I could do with something just to take the stresses out of it. Trouble is, if it works, you're addicted for life with some of them. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous what's going on here. It might just be a push out. Try again and then down, but I'm on a good start for today, see, so I don't want to do something stupid. Whiskey. Oh, yes, I see what you mean, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah. It's a single malt thing. It's in a brown, but yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. My favourite is Lafroig, the 10-year-old Lafroig. They're heavily peated. They dry the barley with burnt peat and it puts a really strong smoky taste into it, which I love. I used to hate it. But I think I'm out of whiskey now. I finished my 12-year-old bottle of Glenlivet a couple of days ago. So I'm going to have to pop and get another one later. Does work, actually. I reckon maybe a couple of doubles. That's the equivalent of a couple of pints of beer. A couple of doubles later in the garden. It relaxes me pretty well, that. Not only that, if you finish on a green day, the rest of the day is just... Trouble is, you finish on a red day, if you're down quite a bit, the evenings just tend to be a little bit shit. Whereas if you finish on a green day, the evening's relaxing. So that's my new plan, to try to have a green day every day. Interesting. Yeah, that's why I couldn't think about going short here. Now that measured move's played out. And not the measured move, the lower the channel with the break in the new lower the channel. So it is possibility we could push up a little bit. And I would have said it's likely this is a bigger channel. It would make sense. So push up a little bit down and push up. I would say one leg, two legs. I would say this would be the area. If we're going to continue down, this would be the area where it would continue down, I think. Good chat, you guys. I try not to trade more than an hour a day. Gym time plus lunch hours could get messy. Yeah. Man, you got a good life. 1 hour of work a day and then gym. Trouble is, a lot of the times, I mean, I sat through, 3 hours yesterday and took nothing, so an hour just wouldn't sit. Mind you, you trade a little bit different than us, Marlon. Your strategy is a bit different, so there's probably more offers in the way you trade. See, look at that. So we touched here. Get lost. Touched there. Started there. Touched here. And look what's happened there. It's gone off and come down. One leg, two legs. Trouble is, I can't just randomly take that. I've got to... Trouble is, we've had a break for missing a new low, so it is possible it could push up higher. I did put that bigger channel there just out of interest to see if it used that area. Still some relatively strong liquidity. There's some down at 70 and there's some at 73, so I would expect yeah, there's a little bit at 180, but not much. But the majority of the liquidity is 75 and below. So I still think we're going to make some more downward stuff. So if you think about that, that's a leg up. And that's a leg up. So that is almost played out there. So one leg, two leg, and we'll work it alongside of this bigger channel. So I would say I expect some downward stuff. Go for 4 ticks, 2 trades, call it a day. Yeah, I think that's okay. The good thing about 4 ticks, even trades that don't turn out to be good trades can often get 4 ticks. So that definitely interesting. Big signal bar there, big bearish bar there. Trouble is I can't just take that. Just in case. For me at the moment it is working up. I don't expect it to continue up. There's a second entry long there. If that triggers, then I expect some more downward stuff. And for me, we're clearly trending downwards today. We've had this channel here and we've had 2 legs out of it, which exactly we did the same there. 1 leg, 2 leg, and we came down. So hopefully if this finishes slightly bullish and it triggers, I can see it coming down. Now the liquidity down there is drying up a touch. But there is still stuff around the 73, but not as much. 72, 73. Speedy. Guys, does anyone know how much the one-time payment fee for the 25 PA? I'm not sure, but I know it's 140 for the 50, so I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhere around the 125 to 135 mark, I would say. Okay, so now that bigger channel has played out. So let's see if now this pushes up, because there may be some shorts there. And there's a second entry long off the key entry point, which is triggered. Now for me, the bearish is downwards at the moment, so but it might work. But I couldn't trade that second entry long. One push up, 2 pushes up, maybe a triple test. I'm still thinking down at the moment, but what I will say is we've had this bigger channel here and we've had a break and a new low, so that has played out. I do think there's something bigger working, but I'm not gonna bet on it. Buy above 42.05, 42. Oh, up here. Buy above. Interested to see what happens here. There's liquidity around about the 80, which is where that measured leg is. So there's some, it looks like I'd say there's sell orders there. I can't see there being profits. I can't see where you'd long this. So it might just make that measured leg. And if it does and breaks down bearish, you could say that's a triple test. It's just a bit choppy for me. The last thing I want to do now is give up my profits. It's been a pretty good day, considering I've had a couple of crappy days. I really needed it to end on a good note. Is there a difference really besides price between Rhythmic and Tradivate? I can't help you there, bud. Maybe someone else can help you. Is there a difference really besides price between Rhythmic and Tradivate? Anybody know? Right, if you took that second entry long, it's risky doing it. I can't see. There is liquidity up at 85 now. What about there? So it'll be interesting to see here, because this is played out now, whether we are going to move up a while, in which case I'll get rid of this bigger channel. Ah, strange. It's the same price. Ah, it's unusual. You would have said it would have been cheaper. Okay, so if you took that second entry long, you would have got a point out of it. Oh no, maybe you wouldn't have got a point. I can't see why you take a long just yet anyway. No, you wouldn't have got a point out of that. Trouble is, it's been quite a strong downtrend today, so all this is played out. It doesn't mean then it's going to push up. I'd still expect some more downwards. Okay, so that's touched in multiple places there. Touch, touch, touch. It's confirmed that. As far as I'm concerned, it's working nicely in there. I can't see any reasons why not to trust it. So interesting. Triple bottom long. I was thinking more the opposite way around there. Once, twice, three times. Triple top short, I would have said. But EMA's facing up, and it does look like it's pushing higher. Now 180. There's some strong orders 180, so it may hit 180 and then drop like a stone. Well, a stone might be a strong word, but I think it may drop. And this to me is a little bit of congestion. But at the moment, we're still in this bigger channel as far as I'm concerned. So if it hits that 80, then it has hit it. That liquidity hasn't been taken. Now it has. So let's see if we come back down now. But liquidity is building around about the 85. So see what happens here. See, that's a nice bearish bar there. I mean, depending on where you did your count from, you could say it's a failure. But it's clearly going sideways. The overall trend is down, so I think taking a long there is risky. Excuse me. As I say, there is some liquidity around about here, so maybe maybe this is a break from the bigger. I don't know. So we had this. I mean, that was clearly confirmed. Nice. Okay, so we had two legs out, and that played out. So now we're slowly pushing up. We struggled at the top of this bigger channel, if you can call it a channel. It might be a bit early, but perhaps we are getting some upward movement now. 84, 85, there's some liquidity there, so we may push up. Leg up, leg up. Tesla and SPY moving up now. They spoof in there. There's still strong liquidity at 70. But there is some at here, which is clearly looks like it's moving up to. Where is it? Around about the 84. There's some at 84. Yes, I expect that 84 area to hit. So you may call that a fail break out of that range, but with this liquidity a bit higher, I couldn't bring myself to go short there. Now, you could say push up once, push up twice, push up three times. If that pushes up higher and ends up bearish, you could say that's a triple test. And these sell-offs around about the 184, 85, funnily enough, are just above here. So if they do drop, we may get then a nice push down. I am starting to think that this is turning into a bit of a range. Let's have a look. Es possible. Okay, little bit of a breakout there. Yeah, it's possible. There's it's possible there's a range a bit there. I think that's a dangerous sell myself. Dangerous short. Personally, because that liquidity is above there. Strong liquidity just above here. Actually, do you know what? I'm just wondering whether this is just a bit of a spike and a channel. Could be a bit of a spike of the channel. So touched, possibly touching here, touch nice on the bottom end. That's possible. 84 the liquidity is. So I can see another push up. 84 to 85. But strong liquidity around about here somewhere. What's going on here? 84, 85, still strong liquidity around here, in fact just above there, so excuse me just a second. Okay, interesting. That measured leg is played out. So you may have taken that long. If anyone's taken that long, that might be the way down. I just can't think about going long just at the moment. Because obviously the day's mainly been trending down, so I expect it to continue at the moment. There is liquidity 85, quite strong. So what might happen is we might hit this high, pick up these sell orders and then drop. Because it looks like we're ranging, so we've come down and we've touched there once, we've touched there twice. This looks like it could turn into a possible triple test. There's the liquidity, so it would push up there, hit that, and then presumably move down. Let's have a look. And the strong liquidity is at 270, which is down here, so I'd expect if it does make that triple test and hit that, drop down, then I expect it to come down here. So I'm going to be very careful about what I decide to do here. Now, strong liquidity here, so if it pushes up and breaks above this range, touched a few times there, touch there, touch there, touch a few times, then I'd expect it to drop. But I am aware we are working up now. You can work up obviously in a channel to the top of a bigger downtrend. Now, just because there is some liquidity doesn't stop aggressive sellers selling if they think this is the top of a channel, a bigger channel, which is in the right place at the moment. But I can't short there. I have to at least wait for that liquidity to be picked up, in which case that it would probably be a triple test. You're longer at 4180 here. I think it'll work to the top. I can't see, excuse me, how we're moving along at the moment. Long to maybe up here, I think that's all right. But for me at the moment, the bigger picture is down until I can see anything else. I can't think about it. I certainly wouldn't take that short at the moment because of the amount of liquidity that's above here. 85 around this area, so if it does push up, once it hits that liquidity, it may drop quickly, which then may entice some shorts. Nasdaq need to move up minimum by 100 points today, really. Wow, okay, so I mean, it's touched that bigger channel there, so let's just see what happens here. That bigger channel might not necessarily be valid. Interesting. It hit that area there. Now, the liquidity at 84 is strong, very strong. Sorry, 84, 85, around about here. And that hasn't been picked up. So, obviously there was some aggressive selling there. Obviously, it's hit that area on the top of that bigger channel. So, I still expect a bit more of a push-up based on what the liquidity is telling me, but obviously aggressive buyers and sellers have some say at it as well. Touching quite nice there, so we're clearly moving up here. But I think the bigger picture is down. Well, the bigger picture is down. Whether we're going to continue down or not, I don't know. I would have said so, but I do like the liquidity up here. So done for the day. Good on you, Sam. Yeah, I'm happy not to take any more trades. I'm going to finish soon. $400 on that account. $200 on the other one, so that's $800 up today. That's not a bad day. I passed 2 evaluations earlier on, so they're passed. So when they mature, excuse me, that'll be 5 PAs. So far so good. Okay. Now you could say we've hit the top of this, and there's a lower high. The trouble is that liquidity is making me nervous, and that could trigger and push up. But that's not to say aggressive sellers can't push that down. And that's a fair old big bar, isn't it? 3 points. Tick above, tick below. It's a big bar, that. There will be some long stops here. I don't doubt. Maybe there, so it might push through these, but there is very strong liquidity around about here, which I have to be aware of that. This is a good buy trade, hence wait. I just can't buy here. This is looking incredibly bearish to me. I dare say there'll be some buy stops there. There was probably some there. In fact, who said? Someone said they bought there. See, the bigger picture for me is down. I just can't take longs in a downtrend. I'm not saying there's not room for some longs, but for me at the moment, we've just had this push down and we're just going sideways a bit, really. I still think there's more room down. I think liquidity is stronger down here than it is up here, although there is some there, so it may have another go at this area before it moves down some more, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing, and I'll base my trades around a bigger picture. Now, I know you could say this channel's played out and now we can move up, but it just looks like a very dodgy, unpredictable looking channel to me. You can draw the shorter term uptrend with the all right. Target 7. Think of sell. Trade only and only below. Yeah, short's all I can think of at the moment. I mean, clearly the day's been about moving downwards. Yeah, we've had these pullbacks, like a leg up and some more, and this might be in a leg up and then down. You know, I'm only taking shorts at the moment. I'm not saying there isn't room if you're scalping a point or 6 ticks for a long trade. If you took that one, you got 3 points out of it at least. If you took that one, maybe that worked out. But I tend to go for the 2 to 4 points. So for me, it's got to be with trend. But I still like to see that area hit first. So I think I'm going to knock on the end, guys, anyway. It's been a better day today anyway, so I feel a little bit better today. So don't forget, this 80% off finishes at midnight tonight. Now, I believe the site's down, but I dare say... let me just have a check. Let's see. Site is under construction. Why would you have the site under construction on the last day of the 80% off? Makes no sense whatsoever. Absolutely no sense. Maintenance, but that doesn't make sense. Why? Do your maintenance tomorrow. Okay, but you've got till midnight tonight anyway, so I can't see it being an issue. So yeah, that finishes tonight. If you use my code, or you have used my code, it is much appreciated. So look, guys, I appreciate all the comments. Not been a bad day today. It's been a little bit more predictable today. Yesterday, in my opinion, was a tough day. I didn't like yesterday at all, but it's clearly sort of working down. There is a little bit of choppy areas, but, you know, as long as you sort of stay out of them. But there is trades there. There was something there that did make 2 points. That one made 2 points. So there was a few little bits and pieces there, but I wouldn't say nothing fantastic. But at the end of the day, if you can get a trade, it doesn't feel like a bad day, does it? So that's it for today, guys. I'll be back here normal time tomorrow, Thursday tomorrow, and I'll be here same sort of time. Good trade. Have a great day. You too, Jamie. So yeah, have a great evening. Take it easy, Harjit. Thanks for your input, mate. It's nice to have some experienced traders helping us less experienced traders out. So have a great evening, guys. Stay safe, and I'll be back again same time tomorrow. But don't forget, last night of that evaluation, the cheap evaluation is 80% off, and it goes back. So that's it for today. Take it easy. Stay safe.